Yo, 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 what's up? Welcome to the Wednesday evening, night, morning, wherever you happen to be stream. I'm Bryan Bentley for CG Spectrum. This is the Wednesday night modeling stream. I'm the department head here at CG Spectrum. And yeah, thanks for joining me, anybody who's out there. We are still continuing work on the Cortex bot. We have moved out of modeling into UV mapping, something that a lot of people struggle with a fair bit. But hopefully I'll show you some tips and tricks along the way. Man, it's been a long week. It's been a long week. I got my little kombucha here. This stuff is delicious, a little probiotic. Good for your guts. Don't want you guys to think I'm drinking on the job. Yeah. So this is where I'm at right now. Unfortunately, my work from last week was corrupted. Boo. Oh, it's no good. It's no good. Let me adjust my camera here. It got bumped. There we go. There we go. Yeah, my file from last week. Whenever I try to open it, it immediately crashes Maya. So that's unfortunate, but these things happen. Now, I always do save as. I always. Well, not always. I try to always do save as or increment and save. Now, I did lose some of my UV mapping, but it could be a lot worse if I was just saving and 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 saving, and that happened. Oh man, I would have lost my entire project. So, save early, save often, save as. Now, I'm not going to go back and through and do what I did last time because I'm going to do some new stuff. So, what I didn't get to last time was the arm, and the arm is a beast, an absolute beast. I didn't get to the arm and the claw. So I'll be doing those today, and kind of reiterating some of the things I did before, and just generally kind of just working through this. So if we look, all my UVs are still kind of all lost all that delicious work from last time. Hello, Trash Art. How you doing? It's so weird to call you Trash Art. Like I don't know why people pick these names for their online handles. It's very strange. Very strange. But it seems like bitrate is really slow this week. I've been calling my ISP and telling them that I need more power, and they're not listening to me. So it's only so much I can do. Anyway, so let's look at. I'm going to look at ARM for now. So let's shift I. That's fine. I just need to get some UVs on here to begin with. I'm going to just double click, and I'm just going to scoot everything over by one because I'll be working in here and I want to get rid of it. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll just start to split this thing apart. So for this, what I'll do is I think I can do object mode in my UV editor. I can do, let's see, cut UV edges. So if I use this tool, I usually don't do this in the viewport, mostly because I'm pretty old school. But we'll see. Let's do UV. Okay. Just gonna do my edge. And why is this? There we go. There we go. My my soft selection was still on. No, don't want that. So we'll do. All right, there we go. A little trouble starting today, guys. So we'll do let's see, UV cut UV edges. So here, so I'm going to do. Let's see, where do I want to cut these? I want to cut across here. I'm going to say. Actually, you know what I can do? Let's do 3D cut and sew. Let's see what that does. So here to here. Ah, yeah. So now I can cut in the UV editor. That's what I was looking for. So I can go around there and around here. And once I make shells, this should give me a color. Yeah. So if I go all the way around there. Yeah, so it's going from shell to shell. So I'm going to come in here. So this really allows me to see my shells in here. And let's see. I'm going to cut this. And so for complex shapes like this is really, really nice. So I'm going to cut in here, and here, and in here, and here. I think as well I'm going to cut here. Same thing on the other side because I want this to fold flat. I might even do, maybe that'll fold flat. That'll be fine. So I'll do on these edges here as well. And that's flat enough where it should be able to project down. So let's do this guy and this guy. So anytime I'm having like a big shape change is where I'm putting a slice. And this is also the importance of modeling your doing your model with good edge loops. Because if you have good edge loops, this becomes much, much easier. And I'm just holding down Control to sew here because like I had some errant. So this will be a patch. That'll be a patch. This will all be a patch. Let's see. View, shaded. Ah, there we go. So if I go to View and I do shaded, now I can see my my islands. Very, very handy. Very handy. I know that in Houdini you can do this as well. You can define your seams and it'll show you your patches. It's very, very, very handy. Yeah, okay, so that's all done. So I'm just going to grab this whole thing. Just go back to... let's go back to object mode. So I'm going to press F8. Okay, and I'm just going to do an unfold and see what this gives me. So we're going to go back to here, and I'm going to do an unfold. Let it chew. It's a lot. Oh, so that's looking really good. That's looking actually damn good. I'm super happy with that. So I'm going to quickly do a layout and just see what these things look like because they're all kind of jumbled together over here. So let's close that down. Let's do arrange and layout. We'll do just layout. See what that gives me. Whew, it's not bad. It's not bad, y'all. I'm not mad at that at all. At all. That's super fast. To be completely honest, I was kind of worried about this, but all right. So now I can go through and start to make sense of some things that might need a little bit more love. So it's like this edge here. Where would that be? Yeah, it's this top part. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut these two things in half because you rarely ever see the way this guy is built. You'll never really see this part because it's got that big overhang for the head. And then also you're never going to see both sides at the same time. So I'm going to say Shift X. So I'm going to cut that. Shift X as well here. And maybe here as well. Yeah. So let's grab all this and do another layout. Maybe another unfold. Another layout. Yeah, so that's really nice. That's looking really good. I'm liking that a lot. Close, that's fine, that's fine. It's nicely packing these rings together. So for this guy, so I'm going to do UV shell. Let's try and straighten this out. So I'm going to do straighten UV. I think I just want to straighten in my V. Give me that. And then I'm going to unfold along my V as well. Oh, yeah, that's wonderful. Let's see. Straighten. Unfold. Let's see what this is. Yeah, that's a really little piece, so I think that's okay. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Straighten UVs. Unfold. Straighten. Yeah, that worked out really, really well. And in fact, I may do that for some of these other pieces as well. This big piece. I think that's all right. Might need to come in here. Yeah, I'm missing some spots there. So I'm going to come and grab these edges. So even though it's automated, you still got to go through and do some stuff by hand. Shift X. Yeah. So there we go. That gives me that piece. Let's unfold these again. Yeah, there we go. Getting rid of that distortion. Let's see what this piece is. I think this one could be straightened as well. So I'm going to do edge. Grab those edge. Shift X. Bam. Grab this guy. UV shell. Unfold. Yeah, so I'm liking those. I'm liking those straight pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this whole thing. I'm going to scoot it over one more time. And this is just to kind of show a technique. Hello, Pietro. Oh, I think my title did stay the same as last session. Oh, I was late getting home today. Thanks for pointing that out. I'll remember to do that next time. I got so excited about starting. Well, I was excited about starting, and then I was really sad because I lost all my work from last week. And then I got really excited because I remembered this technique. Because I haven't really UV'd anything for a while, so this is a really nice refresher for me. And this is looking really good. This is like these squares. There's like very, very little distortion across this. So what I'm going to do is I want to lay this thing out completely straight. And my unfold is like, nah, bro, this needs to be a circle. So I'm going to force this thing into being a straight line. And this is great. This technique is great for tubes. It's great for all sorts of stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to do what it's called unitizing. So actually, I'm going to move this stuff over one more. Just get it out of the way. So I'm going to grab all these faces. And I'm going to unitize each face. So what unitizing is, it's going to take every single face, and it's going to put it in a 0 to 1 UV space. So I think that's under modify, and then it's unitize. Yeah, so I like that. So I'm going to put that on my shelf. UV. Yeah, let's do modify. Unitize. And it'll bake for a second. And so we can see every single one of these guys becomes their own shell. It becomes like this disco boogie. And this is a little disco boogie. And each one, boom, 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 boom. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to define a seam on here. Now this one's a little bit tricky because I usually do this with tubes. But I want to make sure that, so I'm going to take, so I'll make two of these. I'm going to make one going this way and one going that way. So I'm going to say, let's see, I'm going to grab this edge, this middle edge, and this edge. And actually, no. I'm going to go all the way around. So I'm going to grab, let's turn off shading because this is getting in my way. View. Shaded. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to grab this loop, that loop, and this loop. So what I want to do now is I want to convert this to edges. So I'm going to say select, convert selection to edges. So what I'm going to do is I want to sew each one of these things together, but I don't want to sew this edge here. So I'm going to double click, shift and double click that edge. Because if I sew that together, then it's going to sew to the rest of everything else. Okay, so I should get something like this. So now what I'll do is I'll say, let's see, stitch together. And this will take a minute. And what we'll get this big long strip, if I've done this right, of polygons. You'll see almost like railroad tracks going around this thing. So it's a lot of moving and sewing, so it takes a minute. So we're close. So that's what it did, but I think I need one more seam. So I'm going to undo. Oh, just this outside edge. So I'll do that again. So I'm going to go all the way around with this one. And so I'll take from here to here, and I'll say stitch together. So that should give me one more row down there. Like that. And I'll do the same thing here. Here to here. There we go. So I just lost that little row. And to get rid of this little sawtooth here, I'll just kind of grab all that stuff and say so. And then all this stuff. So that. Oops. Bam. Cool. Awesome. So now what I can do is I'll just grab this UV shell and this UV shell, and let's just do a layout along U. And then I'll just do a layout. So now I got this perfect railroad track that goes all the way around this thing. This is awesome. It's like, bam. So if I ever wanted to make like stripes on this thing, all I need to do is just draw one line, and it'll go all the way around. So it's this nice, perfect kind of Beetlejuice looking thing. Okay, cool. So let's do just a big layout, make sure everything fits. And there we go. So I'll probably go in here and move some of this stuff around. Like this thing can probably go inside that thing. That thing can go inside, you know, some other things. But like I was doing before, it's just the initial splat. I got it done. It's down. And then we can move on to the next level. So that actually went way faster than I thought it was going to. I'm going to fill another hour and a half. Wow. We might actually get done with the arm today, guys. I doubt it, but it's a possibility. It's a possibility. Okay. Let's look at the rest of this. Okay, so I'm just going to work my way through these now. So delete. And this one can probably be a cylindrical map with planar maps on the ends. So I'm going to do that. So UV, let's do cylindrical. Put that on the shelf. Wow. Why is my cylindrical map not working? Very strange. So go around and click this little widget. Oh no. For some reason my aim is off today, guys. There we go. And then I'm just going to find, so this seam comes around here and it goes around to there, so I'm just going to do these guys. Same thing, the seam kind of comes into here, kind of starts going around like that. So I'll do these guys as well. Say UV. normal based. That did not do a good job at all. But I can always just do a unfold, boop, and that'll take care of that. And these guys, unfold, boop, that'll take care of that. Now this is kind of jankety, so I think I'll take this edge and I'll cut it, and then I'll bring it back over to this edge. I'll say, let's see, stitch together. Boop, put that over there, and then unfold this one more time. And then same thing for this guy. Edge, X. Stitch together. Cool. And then we can take everything and lay out. Yeah. So you get like this gourd shape, but everything is pretty much laid out. Laid out all right. I kind of want this guy to be straight up and down, so I'll take this and put it like that. So it's not going to get this much texture space at all. But it's all, once again, my first pass, I usually do like 3 passes of UVs. I do 1 to just to get everything flattened. I get 2. I do second pass to kind of get everything kind of situated, and the third pass is really refining, like making sure, like shrinking things that aren't important and blowing things up that are more important. So there's that guy. On to the next one. So I think I'll do pretty much, yeah, pretty much the same thing. Pretty much the same thing. So delete my UVs, and actually, no, yeah, I'll just do a normal based. And actually, that's feeling pretty good. It's feeling real good. So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do my UVs, and I'm gonna do 3D cut sew tool, and I'm gonna start slicing this guy up. And this is what I talk about when I say that like UV mapping is kind of, it's a little zen. Like you just kind of do the same thing over and over again. You can really start to get lost in the process, which I really like. I really enjoy it. It's not like rigging or anything else. Like it's very, very zen. Very zen. If you like lo-fi beats, this is like a really good candidate to listen to when you're doing this type of thing. This is also the issue with robots. Everybody thinks they're easier than organic stuff. They're actually quite hard just because they have so many pieces. In fact, if you look at the making of for the movie Robots, I think it was made by DreamWorks in like the late 90s, they didn't do any UV mapping. All of their textures for their robots were procedural, and they were all kind of 3D in space textures. So they were locked in space. So they'd texture them at rest, and then they'd have a reference to that object, because the robots didn't really have a lot of deforming parts. So the cool thing about that was they could do a lot of procedural textures and like put rust with noise and things like that, and they wouldn't have to worry about UV mapping each individual piece. Just because there are so many robots in that movie, there was no way they could do it and be finished on time, which is actually pretty amazing. All right, so let's grab everything and let's do a unfold, see what it gives us. And a layout, see what it gives us. Not bad at all. That is super fast. Wow. Super digging. Dig it. I dig it. Moving on. So did this. Did this guy. Did this guy. I wonder how these two will pack together. And let's look at our layout, because that's not right at all. Let's see, preserve 3D ratios, apply. Let's make sure that, so this thing is packing tiny, and this thing is packing huge. So let's make sure that we don't have any weird transformation, let's see here. Yeah, look at this. We have, so I lost a lot of that work I did last week when I went and cleaned up a lot of this stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the history on these guys. So I'm going to edit, delete by type, history, and then I'm going to say modify freeze transformations. So I'm actually kind of glad that happened, because I get a lot of students being like, why is this acting weird? Why is this? It's best to have your transformations frozen. So watch what'll happen now when I do my layout. Boom. There we go. So that's good. That's good to know. All right. Those rings are crazy. I may have to hand pack some of this stuff. Like pack rings inside of rings. That's what I like doing. All right. Next part. This guy. So I'm going to use that 3D cut and sew again. I'm thinking that this is actually pretty good. I might be able to just get away with a cut UVs. Yeah, I might be able to just get away with an. There we go. Feeling right. Actually, this is going really well. So I'm gonna go back to edges and cut this here. There we go. UV shell. Fold in layout. And fold in layout. So let's look at these. Let's come out of this. Let's grab all these, and we'll go back to our UV toolkit. And let's do layout. And yeah, so these are another. All of this is a really good candidate for that straight strip technique. So I'm going to go ahead and do that again. So I'm going to do. Let's see if the straighten will give it to me first. So let's do straighten in V. Yeah, that's working quite well. And then I'm going to unfold also in V. So that is working really, really well. And then this guy here, I'm going to have to do the trick, the straightening trick, because it really wants to be round. So same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in. I'm going to turn off my shading. My frame. Actually, what I'll do. So I'll just grab this whole shell. Let's say modify, unitize. So each one. So I'm going to take and say select, convert selection to edges. And I want to deselect the outside bit and a seam. So my seam I'm going to put underneath here. We'll say stitch together. Yep. Boom, look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. It's a thing of beauty. Thing of beauty. Oh man, that bracelet, that worked out really nice. Look at that. That is gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Let's just do a quick unfold in V. There we go. And another layout. UV is so clean you can eat off them. Let's moving on. All right. So working my way down the arm. So got this done, got that done, got that done. Got this done. Now I'm intentionally leaving this pain till last. Okay, so did I do these guys? I did not. All right. So for this, I think what I'm gonna do is let's just do a let's do a normal base, and then we'll do a layout and see what it does. Or just an unfold, see what it gives me. That's pretty good. So I think I'm gonna do that to all of these. And actually, what I think I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna combine all these and just do it all together. So combine, create, normal based, unfold, and layout. Boom. Done and done. Did I lose one? I did lose one. So do that again. Combine. Create, normal based, unfold, layout. Bam. Done. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, that felt good. That felt real good. All right, let's see where we're at on the arm. Let me put these back onto the arm. Yeah, moving along. Really nice. Cool. All right, cool. So now, actually, this guy is not too shabby. Not too shabby. Let's do an unfold along V. Yeah, that's actually. I was mildly worried about this, but it looks like it's just going to work itself out. These are a little squished. So let's look at, once again, let's go back and look at my channel editor. Nope. Yeah, it's 111. Let's just do a straight unfold instead of a long. See what it does. Yeah. So for this one, I think I kind of want to just keep my borders straight. So let's do straighten. along U. And then straighten along V. We'll do both. There we go. That's good enough. That's good. Yeah. Wow, that went super fast. It's going really fast today, guys. I might have to actually loop back onto the rest of the body once this is all done. Okay, so let's see. What do we have? All right, so we have all this done. We have this guy done. We have our fins done. This big housing, the tube. And so now we're going to come into some of the more difficult parts. So let's look at, let's see, this looks like, let's do that. Edit, delete all by type, history. So that should get rid of those guys, these polycubes. And my cable should go up here. So I made these cables with these curves in place. So I don't need these base wires anymore. And I think I did this last time, but I'll do it again. And then I want to keep these curves around because I might need it if I ever do some rigging. I'm going to take these curves. So this curve group, curve group, curve group, curve group. And I'm going to take those. I'm going to put those in my pivots. So I'm going to parent that to my pivots. I'm going to keep that stuff around. And then, so each one of these guys has its own little group. And this is its cable, and this is cable. So there's no reason for this to be double nested. So I'll drop those into here. And just to be safe, I'm going to say increment and save. Override it, yes, because it's corrupt. And I'm going to do increment and save one more time. Just so we get to 103. I don't know why I want to get to 103, but I do. All right, cool. Let's see. So we don't need these cable groups anymore. And these cables, I want to make sure that once again, because we're UV mapping, I want to get rid of, I'm going to freeze all these transformations down. Modify, freeze transformations. These are all at 0 and 1. I'm going to freeze these as well, just to be safe. 0 and 1. Good, yeah. So now here's the cool part about if or when you decide to do kit bashing. So I'm gonna isolate these. So I kit bash these, and all these cables, if you notice, they're all exactly the same model. I just duplicated it and moved it around. And if you have a model of enough complexity, your users, like the in-person, isn't going to notice. Like no one's going to notice unless they're really, really looking that this thing is exactly the same as this thing because this is bigger and they're like in different orientations. But these are all the same model. I can prove it to you. So I'll take this piece, this big piece here, and I can, if two things are exactly the same model, I can blend shape them together because that's what blend shapes do. It says take, point 0 from here and move it from point 0 to that guy. So if you try to blend shape two things together and they go, it means your point orders are messed up. But I think if I've done this correctly, I haven't broken anything, and these are all the same model. Now, I may have broken stuff with all that deleting of history. Well, let's find out. So I'm going to take, so I'm going to say, grab this guy and then this guy, and I'm going to go deform. I'm going to say blend shape. I'm going to say, make sure check topology is on. I'm going to say world. So I'm going to say apply. And so it didn't argue at me, didn't yell at me. And I have this blend shape node here. So now let's just see what this does. If I blend this, yep, there we go. They're exactly the same model. So if I know that fact, I can take and I can UV map one of these clusters, and then I can transfer all that data to all these other clusters. Really, really cool technique. Extremely cool technique. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm going to start with this one. So I'm going to start with these big cables first. And how do I want to do this? Start off the same way. Create. Normal based. And let's see. UV shell. All right. So this guy. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to use that 3D cut and sew tool. This guy is so small. Eventually, I'm gonna make him much bigger, but he's really tiny right now. So UV shell. UV. 3D cut and sew tool. And so you can see some of this topology is not the greatest because I pulled this. This is a kit bash model, so that's kind of like the one of the dangers of using kit bash models is sometimes you get some geometry that is less than ideal. But this is so small, I think I'm okay with it. Trying to get these little cutouts into their own thing, and that should be good. So I can take a little bit longer on this one piece because I know that I can transfer this data to the other pieces. There we go. Okay, let's lay this out and see what we get. Here, UV shell. Let's do unfold. Not too bad. Not too bad. I've had much worse. So what I'll do is I'm just gonna slice this guy here. Shift X. Yeah, that's good. Same thing here. So I want this kind of like this end tube to be split in two. There we go. We'll sew these back together, stitch together, and stitch together. Okay. Whew, that was a... There we go. There we go. Very nice. Very nice. So I think on these guys, I'm going to run a straight and... I think I'll leave those. I think I'll leave those. Those are fine. Those are fine the way they are. So scoop those up. And now for the tubes. So the tubes, I'm going to do the same way, I hope, as so these look like they have like these kind of like runners in the middle. So I'll take care of those, and I'll take care of the actual tubes on their own. So what I'll do is I'll go to my face, and I'll take, just going to project, I'm going to do that best plane thing again. Or not the best plane, the normal based. So that works fine. Very nice. And then there's no end to these. Haha, there's no end. So I'll do face, and we'll move these over to there. So that should just leave us with these tubes. And maybe I can get away with doing this. Maybe. So I should have a shell that is... I should have an inside shell and an outside shell. I am correct. So I have this inside bit here. It's just that guy. So I can do this. This will work really well for that. So select all this, convert to edges, pick a seam, deselect that seam. Or actually, no, I gotta grab everything. So unitize. Convert to edges. Deselect the seam. And I probably got to deselect my ends as well, because they connect up here. So I'm going to deselect these guys and the end pieces, if I can get to them. Come on. There we go. Alright, so now we should be able to do stitch together. Bob is your uncle. Love that trick. It's so handy. So handy. So let's see what we got. We got some pieces left over here. Let's see what do we got. Not really even sure what that is. Let's unfold that and see what it is. Looks like some shards. I'm not quite sure where they go. Oh, I think it's these guys in here. And you know what? Those are so small, I'm not even going to worry about them. What I'll probably do once I transfer everything, I'll just delete. I'll end up deleting those anyway. Right, so that leaves our outside. So let's see if we can do that. I've never tried it with a shape that's not a perfect tube. So let's see. Let's see how lazy I can get with this technique. Modify, once again, unitize. Bam. And pick a seam. Convert to edges. Let's see. I don't want these top edges. Right. Or the bottom edges, just like I did before. This is a good time for a lasso. Looks like I missed some. Also a good time to go into for shading. Let's get that angle just right. Deselect these guys. Sure, I reselect those guys, and then pick a scene. So I'm gonna pick something really, really inside. Boom. All right. Stitch together. See what we get. Dun, 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 dun. This is a lot of stitching, so it's going to take just a minute. Probably should have saved before I launched this massive endeavor. Yeah, still moving. Went from 36 to 40. So I usually like to take questions when I'm doing this, but I don't know how many people are out there or what my data rate looks like. So we'll see. We'll see. And so, like, one thing that I do find is I see when students get to something like this, they'll like start clicking and moving and stuff. I like whenever stuff like this is like this, I leave it alone for as long as it needs to. Because what's happening is every single click, every move, every kind of fiddly thing that you do, every like, oh, is it finished? Click, 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 click. That takes up memory. Right? And so what's happening is with these big operations, your memory stack is filling up and 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 filling up. So think about it as you're just pouring a bunch of bucket. You've just poured a bunch of water into a bucket, and that bucket is almost full. Like your memory is taxed out, and every click is a little bit more water. Every mouse movement is a little bit more water. Everything you do to Maya is just a little bit more water, a little bit more water, a little bit more water, until that bucket overflows and Maya crashes and you run out of memory. So, I know this is kind of boring. It's kind of like watching paint dry, but I really don't want to lose the work that I've already done. And it's an exercise in patience. Sometimes you just gotta sit and chill for a little bit. If I wasn't doing this stream, I would have gotten up and went and got a drink of water or gone for a walk or done like a little stretch or something. So yeah, actually, that's not a bad idea. I'm gonna do me a little stretch right now. Oh yeah. Oh, that's good. Mm-hmm. It's always good. Keep limber. Take care of your wrists. Take care of your shoulders. Take care of your back. About 50%. Payoff on this should be really good if my Maya doesn't crash. It's always weird doing like heavy operations like this while it's streaming. I always forget that I'm streaming. It takes up so much of system resources. Everything takes just a little bit longer. As long as it's still moving. It's up to 49. It was at 46 a few minutes ago. In fact, I think I am going to go get a glass of water. So I will be right back. All right, up to 53%. Move it along. Move it along nicely. So basically what I'm doing is I'm paying this work forward, right? I'm waiting now, but when this is done, right, this big section is going to be done, and I can copy this over to all the rest of those other sections, which is great. So I can just do I can basically say, all right, just the same way that I can, that two models can be connected through, can connect their positions through their point order. They can also connect color through point order. They can connect UV data through point order. So I always call it like the Rosetta Stone. So the Rosetta Stone, if you don't know your Mesopotamian history or whatever, so there's like 3 languages. No one could figure out how to crack them, and they found this stone, and it had the exact same thing written in like 4 different languages. So what that allowed like archaeologists or whoever to do, it has allowed them to say, okay, well this means this in this language, and this must mean this in this language. So it's like this huge discovery, and they could like backwards extrapolate all this language. The same thing, well, not the same thing, but the same idea goes with models, right? If you have correspondence, some kind of correspondence between your models, you can do a lot of stuff. I go over this a lot in my in the advanced character sculpting class when I'm teaching the cloth, right? So if your models are in the same space in world space, or the same spot in world space, they can share information. If they have the same UVs, they can share information. Or if they have the same point count, they can share information. So if you have any of those 3 things in common, you can find the other 2. So that's so you just need 1 point of correspondence. So in this case, all of my cables have the same point order. So I can share their position data via blend shape. I can share their UV data via transfer attributes. So it's very, very, very handy. So you kind of like a little bit of forward thinking whilst you're modeling into what you're going to do when you run your UVs. Almost 60%. I'm going to save this immediately when it gets done, because I can just feel my memory footprint just going, just growing and growing and growing and growing. Still waiting. Oh, it's like watching paint dry. It's so tempting to start doing something on your computer at this point. Usually I would go for a walk, or I would actually just stop working at this point. But we still got an hour left. So this should probably be done in like another 5 minutes. I was hoping somebody would have some questions. I don't even know who's watching. I should have background music. I need to find some royalty-free background music. I said that last time, but I meant it. I need to find some royalty-free background music. I'm slacking on my Pippin. All the other mentors have background music. I just have my sweet. Well, no, here, this guy. Where is it? There it is. Oil painting of myself. I can't wait to get this guy into Substance. And actually, I just installed Unreal Engine today because I've been doing some at my on-ground job. I've been doing some rendering in Unreal. Not real-time rendering by any means. Well, real-time rendering, but not 60 frames per second. I'm getting about 1 frame every 4 seconds, which is appalling to most game people, but for a visual effects person, that is ungodly fast. I was amazed at how many frames that I could get done in a night. Like I got like 3,000 frames rendered in a couple hours, which is just insane for a coming from a visual effects background where we usually have to wait at the very best 10 minutes a frame. So that was very exciting. That kind of pushed me over the edge to start looking into real-time rendering as a solution, especially for animation and student animation. Oh man, it's great. It's great. It's the amount of iterations you can get. Even going from 10 minutes to 5 minutes a frame. You're doubling your render time. So going from 10 minutes a frame to 4 seconds a frame is insane. It's crazy. I also have this really nice RTX card that's sitting on my desk that is more or less idle for most of the stuff I'm doing, so I feel like I should give it a workout. Still moving along, 65%. Lots of sewing going on right now. Let's see, what else can I talk about? I don't know. Usually I have people to, like I said, usually I have people to answer questions. I'm kind of tied up. I can feel I can hear my fan kicking on and off, so my processor's working pretty hard. So the reason this is taking so long is it has to take every single one of these faces and do a stitch operation. So it has to stitch that one to that one and that one, and it's doing it concurrently. So it's not doing them all at the same time. It's doing one, then the next 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 one, and it's building up all this history. So that's why it's taking so much time. Almost 70%. Almost there. Be patient, Bentley. Got plenty of time. A whole another hour and 10 minutes. This is like watching paint dry. Luckily, I only got to do it once. I think this is the biggest part of the model. So after this, we should be off to the races, or biggest part of like these kit bash tubes. Only 30% left. Come on, Maya, you can do it. I believe in you. Kind of. This is the other reason that I'm really, really enjoying moving to Houdini, or starting to do more work in Houdini. Well, some parts of Maya are multi-threaded and some parts aren't. Houdini is multi-threaded from the ground up. It is so fast. It handles geometry. Like I really don't think like this operation, to be completely honest, on the machine that I'm running with its Maya, as much as it costs, should not be taking this long. This is crazy. I mean, it's just like and Maya is I'm not poo-pooing on Maya. Well, I am kind of poo-pooing on Maya, but it's the industry standard. So I still get a lot of people saying like, oh, well, why don't I use Blender, or why don't I could use Cinema 4D, or I could use Moto or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, sure, use whatever you want. But the fact of the matter is, right now, at this very moment, most industries are based, most visual effects is based in Maya. Most games are based in Maya, or 3D Studio Max if you're in Asia. That's the tool that companies use. Now, this could change. It could always change. Which is why I always say learn principles and not buttons. So I'm having to deal with this a lot at my current job. Like I don't like I have access to a very old version of Maya. I have to use a lot of like other softwares like Spark AR Studio, and I'm starting using Houdini, and like I said, Unreal Engine and Unity, and there are all these technologies out there, and it's getting to the point where being an expert on one is it's not possible because you have to do so many different things, and there are so many different options. You have to know principles. Like right now, I have to learn JavaScript, or I have to work in JavaScript because that's what Spark AR, the software that makes these the Instagram and Facebook and face filters. That's what its scripting language is written in. I've never written JavaScript before. I have written Mel. I've written C#. I've written Python. I've written a little bit of C++. So I try to separate syntax from semantics, right? Semantics is logic. It's like, how do I do this? It's like, okay, what questions do I need to ask to get this done? Syntax is, do I need like a colon here or a comma, or do I need single quotes or double quotes, things like that. That stuff is easy to learn. Like thinking programmatically is something that takes time. So yeah, 75%, 25% left to go. Probably should have done this in chunks, but whatever. So close, so close. What else can I talk about? Oh, yeah. Some people, I didn't mention it last time. Some people were asking where this robot came from. It came from Palindrome by the guys over at Creature Box. They make these amazing little books. Their artwork, I love their artwork. I've loved it for a really, really long time. They did a lot of the stuff on Ratchet and Clank, the original Ratchet and Clank. And this book is amazing. It's like one of my favorite art books. So I can't wait to finish this guy. I'm probably going to try to make him look a bit like the guy on the cover, because in the concept art, if you can see, it's just all black and white and just like little splashes of red. So this is pretty much the only thing I have to go by, or maybe the one on the back. The one on the back is a little bit cleaner. Oh yeah, definitely VR. Oh my god, VR. It's the future. I actually have, from my new job, I have. Ooh, excuse me. I have an Oculus just sitting in the corner of my room, and I'm just waiting to have time to set it up, because there are tons of VR sculpting apps coming out. Like one of the original ones was Oculus Medium. That's still the main one. You can look that up. There's another one that's called Gravity Sketch that people are getting really into. And then there's another one that's more for animation called Quill. And I've played around with Oculus Medium a little bit, and it is so fun. It's such a different experience than working in ZBrush or Mudbox. Like being able to see your model floating in front of you in stereo, because you're getting the stereoscopics in the helmet, and being able to like grab it, quote unquote, grab it and move it around. It's such a different experience. It's and I really can't explain it. And even if you go on YouTube and you watch, there are like lots of guys like Glenn Southern, and he's the main one, Glenn Southern. And they do these VR demos, and they're basically saying the same thing I have. They're like, oh man, it's so different. It's so nice to be in VR, and it just doesn't click until you actually try it. And it is really a game changer. It's gonna be. I feel like VR is just going to make flat screens obsolete. Like, I feel like my grandkids, or maybe their kids or their grandkids, are going to look back at flat screens like we look at like black and white movies, or like silent film, or for some of the younger generation, like the cathode ray tube monitors. Like, it's going to be like, oh my god, I can't believe Grandpa used to sit and watch a flat screen to, like, you know, consume their media. Or it's like, oh my god, I can't believe that you couldn't, choose your own adventure in every movie, or every, piece of media. Or I can't believe every piece of media is not catered exactly for me with, like, interactivity and AI. Like, that kind of stuff it's gonna happen. It's not when, it's not if. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when these things are going to happen. So yeah, if you can get into VR, if you can get your hands on a VR headset, the Oculus Quest 2, the Oculus Quest 2 just came out. If you have the means, and you're a CG artist, I highly recommend getting your hands on one and starting to play around with that stuff, because it's still as prolific as it's starting to become. It's still very infantile, and companies want it. They want to know how to use it. They want to know how to implement it. They want to know how to monetize it. They want to know how to make their mark with it, and they just don't know how, because it's a brand new medium. And like, just as creatives, we need to learn how to tell stories when your audience is not only, their time is not only captivated, right? Because that's what Netflix did, right? It freed the viewing audience, right? I can go and I can watch, my favorite show whenever and wherever I want. I can watch it on my phone. I can watch it on my iPad. I can watch it on my TV. I can watch it on the bus if I want, right? So it's going to do the same thing with viewership. And like, it's going to be, people aren't going to, they just will refuse to consume something that's not in VR, or not stereoscopic, or not interactive. It's a logical next step of, viewer control. 81%, almost there. Innate spirit. Almost there. Oh man, especially for ArchViz. Oh my god. People, I mean, and even if you look at, like, with COVID and everything, that'll be, I mean, maybe that's the way that you view the apartment that you're gonna go see. You like, oh, you meet your virtual real estate agent in some virtual lobby, and they go and take you to 3D, like, LiDAR scans or Matterport scans of the apartment that you want to live in, and then you walk around in it, and you can see it and that's amazing. That's an amazing thing that you could do. You can see it at different times of the day. What does it look like at 2 o'clock in the afternoon? What does it look like at 12 o'clock midnight? Right? You can take your furniture. Maybe you can have a digital catalog of all of your furniture, and you can say, oh, okay, I'm going to put my couch here, and my TV here, and my bookshelf here, and my bed here, and my couch doesn't fit in this section, so maybe I need to buy a new couch. Like that, oh man, that's a really good idea. I might I might just take that and run with it. I might not have to work ever again if I can get that to work. Monetize that. So it's a brave new world out there. So it's it's really, really exciting and very scary, very, very scary, especially with the world the way it is now. VR is already changing. It's already changing, and even things beyond, entertainment, art viz is changing. It's changing medical. There's been extensive studies in rehabilitation of people with brain trauma with VR. There's been VR, training for a very, very long time. So. So close, so close, so close. I didn't plan for this to take this long, but that's live television, folks, or television, online, whatever you want to call it. So close. 85. 15 more percent. 15 more percent and we're there. This is almost like watching rendering. This is not even exciting as watching. At least when you're watching rendering, you can see the image happen. I can't wait to get this thing. I really can't wait to get this thing in Unreal, especially with just like the lighting, and you don't have to with the real time rendering stuff. You pretty much. I'm excited to see, because my laptop is relatively new. It's new-ish. It's got an RTX Quattro card in it, a Quattro Studio card in it. It's got Core i7. I think it's got 64 gigs of RAM. I think. So it's a pretty hefty machine for a laptop. I move around a lot, so I tend to have laptops more than desktops. And I know a lot of people are like, "You're insane. You should just get a desktop." But mobility is key for me. And living in Hong Kong, I don't really have a lot of space. I'm willing to pay a little bit more for a really, really nice laptop. To save on the space, right? I can't have like one of these giant rigs that's like, like this big. That's like half of my office. So that's the choice. That's the choice. 90%. Ba 91. Da, 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 da. I feel like I should like light off fireworks when this is done. This is such a build-up. Such a build-up. Still going. 8% left. And actually, you know what? I'm actually looking to. I'm about to embark on because I'm learning so much new stuff. My brain is in that space. I'm about to embark on learning how to use. I will actually try to start to learn Blender. Because it's a good program. Like I don't like, people are like, why do you hate Blender so much? It's like, I don't hate Blender, I just don't use it. I've never had to use it. I've never had a reason to learn it, so I haven't. So maybe I'll force myself to actually pop it open and have a look, see what's in there. I've seen some really, really beautiful work come out of it lately. Ten to 1, this finishes and immediately crashes by. Close. Oh, there we go. File. Increment and save. Woo! Ooh, look at that. Look at that. That is a lot of stitching. That's a lot of stitching. I'm going to save one more time just to be safe. Wow. Worth worth the payoff. Worth the payoff. Boom. Oh, that's beautiful. That's fantastic. Let's look at that. Look at that. Look at that. And we got that middle piece. That's wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to lay this out. Actually, I'm going to do edit, delete all by type history because that's a massive, massive suck. Yeah. I forgot to change it before the stream. Okay, so let's do a layout or an unfold in let's say V. See what that gives us. Right, that's looking really good. It's looking really good. All this stuff is nice and square. Do the same thing here. So that's looking good. Let's come out of viewport. All that work for that tiny little piece of geometry, but it'll pay off. Trust me, it'll pay off. Okay, so let's do a layout here, and look at that. Look at that. It's really nice. Looking really, really nice. Cool. So now that we've waited all that time, now it's going to pay off. Hopefully. So now I can say transfer your information to your information. So let's say mesh attribute transfer attributes. And I want to transfer, don't want to transfer my vertex positions, don't want to transfer my vertex normals. I'm going to transfer my UV sets, and I want to do it by topology. So I'll say apply. Bam. Done. This guy, done. Same thing over here. I'm going to do this. And this guy. Press G. Boom. Done. That guy. G. Done. So there's the payoff. All three of those all done and finished and laid out. Edit, delete all by type, history. Awesome sauce. All right, so let's do the next parts. So we have like these little clips here. All right, so create. Normal based. And we'll say, let's see if we can unfold these. No, they're not going to unfold, so I got to go in and cut them by hand. Let's go in here. Let's grab. Yeah, let's go and we'll do our UV 3D cut. Cut there. Cut there. Cut there. Here, and I'll do a cut here. I'll do the same thing for these other two. And once again, this is the same model. So once I do this once, and I can do it to the other models just as well. Turn a different color. Let me grab some of these edges and just frame that up so that it's focused on there. There we go. There we go. So let's grab these guys. Once again, you never know what you're going to get with kit bashing. actually, you know what? For these, they are so small. So small. I'm just going to do an automatic on these guys. I generally don't do automatic, but for this, I think it's going to get the job done just fine. And actually what I'll do is I'll kind of rotate my boxes to try to get those flat pieces. Yeah, I'm feeling like that's okay. Right, so I'll take all this and I'll just unfold and lay out. Yeah, I think that's good enough. I think that's okay because they're so small. You know, I'm not really going to worry about that too much. They're not really going to have a lot of texture space. I'm not too worried about it. And sometimes that's what I like. I have a bad habit of trying to like be perfect with everything all the time. Like these are so small. Like I'm not even worried about it. I'm not even mad. Yeah, those are tiny. Probably be like 3-4 pixels on the screen at most. So we have that main tube, and so I got my main tube, and then I got this guy. So then we have just this little one left, and this one's going to be the same. This should take less time than the other one. So once again, we'll do create, normal based, and then we'll do face. Grab those end caps. Normal based. See if there's an end cap on the end here. Nope, no end cap on the end. So I can just take this, move it over, grab everything, same thing. Let me save before this. Deselect that guy and convert to edges and do this the song and dance again. Deselect, select, come down here, deselect, select, and then grab an edge, and there's my seam. Stitch together. So as you can see, it's a lot of the same things over and over and over and over and over again. So once this is done, I'll go through and I'll just transfer all that data in. So I think for this whole thing, what I'll do is I'll just pack the whole thing together, and then I'll have like those guys are going to be packed. So I'll do the same thing for the pistons as well. So because I know that all my pistons in here are all the same, and at that point, then the arm will be done. So I only have to do one piston, and it'll be finished. So I have, let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I should have put 2 more in there because then I want to have 9. But what I can do is I can say, let's see, I have 3 pistons, 4 cables, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's see, I can do the clavicle and the shoulder as 1, so that's 8. And then let's see, that big arm piece can be, let's see, what's the next? 9, and then, but then it's 16, so I think I want to push everything into 9. So I think what I'll do is all the pistons will have their own, all the cables will have their own. The clavicle and upper shoulder, so that's, wait, that's 7. Clavicle and upper shoulder will be 8. and then the big arm piece and the rubber hose will be 9. So it'll be 3 and 3, so that'll be a square, and then I'll squeeze all that down into one square, and that'll be the entire arm. Man, this takes a long time when I'm streaming at the same time. Streaming eats up so much space, so much memory. It is going faster than the other one, though. Much, much faster. But, once again, it's kind of annoying that Maya is this slow on this operation, man. It should do this lickety-split. Almost there. 80%. 80%. And in fact, once I do get, if and when I get the Oculus set up, I'm hoping to do a stream doing VR sculpting, or me fumbling my way through VR sculpting, because I'm only human. Anytime anybody tries something new, you're probably going to be terrible at it, unless you're very lucky and you're very, very talented at that one thing. But then again, there's going to be things that you're going to try that you're not talented at. Don't judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree. Great proverb. Almost there. Go, Maya, go. On a side note, speaking of Unreal, they just announced they have a Creators Challenge. So if you want to get into that, I highly, highly suggest you jump on that. Contests are a great way to stretch your skills. Don't enter the contest expecting to win or trying to win. What I would suggest, you enter the contest and saying, hey, I'm going to make the best thing that I can. Because what a contest does is it gives you a deadline. And a lot of our, and even my, a lot of my personal projects, or a lot of creatives, their personal projects, they peter out just because you just have this endless amount of time to work on them. Right? There's no end date. So that's what contests do. They give you an end date. Six. 4 more percent. 4%. 7, 3%. Yahtzee. Save. There we go. There we go. So I'm going to say same thing. Unfold along U and layout. Take both of these. Layout. That guy fits in the corner just right. So I think that is all the cables in that bundle. So I'm just going to go ahead and let me save this, increment and save. And I'm going to say layout all that. So let's look at pack together, non-overlapping. Let's say apply. Let's do edit, delete, all by type. History. And we'll grab all these pieces and say layout. Now these guys are kind of taking up a little bit too much space. So what I'm going to do, so this is now when you can kind of get clever. So I'm going to lay out these on their own. I'll take these and I'll move these down. And then I'll lay out the tubes on their own as well. So my tubes are a little bit long. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice them. I'm going to slice this guy here. So I get a little bit better distribution. There we go. So I have to cut it in the middle, which is fine. And then I'll take these guys and I'll just kind of slot them in wherever they can go because they're so small. Yeah. This is like a way of you can like you're basically like pseudo automated packing stuff together. Like I said, because these are so small, they really don't need a lot of space. Actually just squidge them right in between those two. Yeah, I'm okay with that. And like I said, this is also my first round of UVing. Sweet. So that guy's done, which means for the most part, everything else is done. So what I'll do is I'll say grab this guy and that guy. So my UVs have changed. So I'm going to say, once again, mesh, transfer attributes, bop, bop. Okay, so that's those three. And then I'll say grab this guy to this guy. That goes to there. I think these guys are the same. And this guy up here is the same. Okay, and then same thing with here. Hit this guy and this guy. It's the same. This guy and that guy is the same, and this guy and this guy all the same. So now I've done all that cabling. Oh, that's my piston. Cable, 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 cable. All done. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stuff. Wonderful. I love it. Love it, love it. All right, so let's grab our piston and do the same thing. Yeah, just enough time to do the piston. The piston should go way faster. Much, much faster. All right, so let's see. I don't think these are the same, even though they look the same. So we're going to do the same thing for each one of these. So I'll grab this. I'm going to do create, normal based. So it gives me. And I'm just going to go in and start to do my cutting. So here, so I'm going to do UV. Pretty cut and sew. And just off to the races like I've been doing. this here. And that. We'll cut this guy. I think that should be good. Maybe cut this guy down the middle. All right. Let's do a layout. Or no, not a layout, a unfold. And then a layout. Woo! Not bad. Yeah. Like that. Like that a lot. That was great. Let's see if I can transfer this. We'll see if this works. I highly doubt it will, but we'll see. I can't remember if I duplicated these or not. So you to you. Let's see. Mesh. Transfer attributes. Oh yeah, I did duplicate that. Look at that. Smart Bentley. Good job. Good job, Bryan. So if I transferred that, then that means I probably transferred this as well, which is good. Great. All based. Cool. Sometimes I surprise myself. Do 3D cut. And same stuff. Same stuff over and over again. Always the same stuff. So that actually wrapped all the way around very nicely. You can keep that going. Yeah, at about this time I start to lose steam. I'm just like, oh, I'm getting tired. Feeling it. Like I usually say, it's not good. Try not to work for 2 hours straight. Actually, that little break that we had with the stitching and sewing was actually quite nice. Worked out quite well. Give me a little reprieve. And man, like I cannot get over how good the Maya UVing tools are now than what they used to be. They used to be so painful to do this. Now it's so fast, so easy. Okay, I think this will unfold just fine. Yup. Very nice. Cool. So I should be able to, let's do edit, delete all by type, history. So I'm going to say transfer you to you, modify, or no, it's not, mesh. Transfer attributes. Yes, Bryan was a good boy. And this one is just going to be a simple cylindrical map. And actually what I can do, I'm going to be really lazy. Normal based. And just cut here. And then we'll do a unfold. There we go. Nice and straight. Okay, cool. So now that's our entire piston. Grab the whole thing and lay everything out. And there we go. There's our hard surface piston, all good to go. Nice and laid out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Cool. Right. Nice. So, once again, I know that all these are the same, so I can say transfer you and to you. Mesh. Transfer attributes. Boom. And actually, I can daisy chain this. I can say you go to you. You go to you. You go to you. All right, I'm just going to isolate these guys so I can move a little bit faster. So this guy goes to that guy. That guy goes to that guy. That guy goes to that guy. And that guy goes to that guy. Alright. This guy goes to this guy. Wait. Here's this first one. You go to you. You go to you. And then all these little, this one goes to this one. That one goes to that one. That one goes down here. This one goes down here. And this one goes down here. Should see everything nicely laid out. I'm making a robot. This guy. Haha. Alright, so I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's all the parts of the arm. And actually what I think I'll do is I'm just going to take all the pistons and just lay them out. Layout. Okay. So one last thing. I think my pistons, yeah, they still have translation data on them. So I'm going to say edit, or sorry, modify, freeze transformations. Yikes. Oh, I know what happened. Undo that. So these guys, I'm pretty sure probably still have a ton of history on them. Let's undo that layout. Let's get back to where we were before. I keep on forgetting that that I lost my work from last time. So I want to take and say edit, delete all by type, history. And then let's see what these look like. So I'm gonna freeze the transformations on these guys, but I want to keep for my pistons. I want to keep their rotation. So I'm gonna freeze their transform and their scale, but not their rotations. Yeah. So I'm gonna say modify, freeze, transformation scale. Actually, I'm going to do that on all these. So now my pistons should be 0, but they still have their rotation values overall. Okay. So that should allow me to... And actually, the other thing I want to do, I got a little bit of time left, is I'm going to get rid of these locator shapes. So I'm going to grab all the locators, make sure it's just the locators, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to press down, and that'll give me their shapes, and I'll just delete them. So now these locators just become just transforms again. So now I can swipe select everything. And let's try layout now. There we go. Much faster. Ooh, that looks good. Yeah. That's really nice. That is gorgeous. So there are all my cables. So my pistons. I think I'm going to do the same thing with the cables. So I'm going to grab all my cables, press down, delete those. So I can't accidentally move something in the world. So all my cables are sitting on top of each other. All my pistons. Now my pistons are a little bit bigger, so I might want to have like custom wear and tear on each one of those. So yeah. I don't really know what I'm going to use this robot for. Won't be using it in a game because I'm a visual effects and animation person, so I don't do gaming. I will be possibly rendering it in a gaming engine because that's a new thing now. So gonna explore that. But yeah, so it's just an exploration in modeling and texturing and maybe a little bit of rigging. Okay, so I think if I'm correct, there's my pistons. So my cables, clavicles over here, arms over here. So I put my clavicle and my arm together. So I'm gonna group those. Call this upper arm. The hose, that guy's there. This guy's here. And let's see, what is this? Got this little holder piece. My elbow is all laid out, and then these guys are all laid out. So I think I'm going to take my elbow and my cube. I'm going to lay those out together because they're kind of all one piece. I'll group those. And then I have this clavicle socket. What is this? Oh, it's this little guy in here. So I'll probably, actually, yeah, I'll lay this guy out. I might not even need this. It's so buried in there. We might not ever see this. I'll probably group this in with the upper arm. So let's put him in with these guys. Yeah, put that clavicle socket in with the upper arm, and I'll UV that later. And I have my big rubber hose, and then, let's see, this is my mid-arm housing. I don't really know where I'm going to put that with, so I think I'll put that with the machinery. But, in general, everything's flat, everything's laid out. First pass is a good pass, wireframe. And if I show my checkerboard, we should see everything nice and flat. So if I do this and grab all this, there we go. Everything is nice and laid out. No distortion or very, very little distortion across the board, which is the first step to getting things to look good. All right. Cool. Right. 2 hours just to do one arm. You know, CG takes a long time. All right. Thank you so much for hanging out. Sorry we had kind of like the paint drawing session there, waiting for those tubes to stitch together. But you know that's part of the process. I will see you next week for all your CG needs, for all your modeling needs, game design, lighting, concept. CGspectrum.com for modeling. CGspectrum.com/3D modeling. You can get me at Bryan Bentley at cgspectrum.edu.au. Thank you so much for coming, and I will see you next week. Take care, drink water, stretch, exercise, wear your mask, wash your hands.